Have you got it yet? Can you get on it?
I have it, yes.
And mine's not coming up.
Randy, did,
I'll just get it from the
didn't he
email.
pass along a message from
I
an
get
Alice
the,
Wall?
where the mayor normally sits. I get the gavel.
Madam Peters?
In her neighborhood, she said some kids have a basketball property and it's in the
Oh, my
area
goodness.
and it's causing, some issues with her moving out of her driveway.
Is it on the street?
It's just been.
I'm not sure if it's, she said it's on city property. She didn't really elaborate on what it is. I spoke to Ms. Wall. She called.
Yeah, yeah.
And she said she spoke to someone in the
I was
office,
down at Prairie Beach.
and I don't know if they passed it along.
Today. And, I mean, it's weird to not be able to be.
Okay, I don't have it.
House down there.
She called me by phone, so
Daughter. Been able to
me
be within
I can
friends.
text her now, and I'll get it to you by the time we leave today.
Watch movie. Hey, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
So how is this working? Is everybody only coming in as they're supposed to speak, or are they gonna come in and populate a seat back there?
I think we need some
Well, we
popcorn.
can only have 10.
Okay.
So you got the thing. Recording. Yes, it's recording.
Hey.
It was on a different mic.
What'd he say?
He said the mics were live, so
Is that from the top or from here?
probably from there.
Yeah, it's probably from, yeah.
Is it being streamed right now?
Watch, make sure your jokes are clean.
So do you want this on or off, or does it matter?
On.
Leave it on, yeah.
So is it just audio or is it audio and video?
Audio.
Okay.
Just audio.
How you doing?
Hanging in there.
Weird time.
I know.
Just say who was first.
It's just gotta keep our head above water.
We're being streamed.
Just keep paddling. Just keep paddling.
Yeah,
I think Joanne is on the Polycom.
she was. All right, I've got 401s. Everybody else ready?
Ready?
All right, well, we're gonna call the finance meeting to order, and we will get right to it. The first item is 2020-123. We're discussing a contract with Dalton Contracting about our transportation terminal and City Hall. Some of this we've been over a little bit, but if it'll download for me. All right, we got public services here, so go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, this is for concrete repairs at the Benton Hall Transportation Terminal and the City Hall parking lot, East Commerce Avenue. We need to replace broken concrete curbs, slabs, ramps, and level existing brick pavers. If you look, we have some maps attached showing what we're doing at both sites and some pictures. I mean, in reality, this could, because of the broken pavers. I'm sorry, you're going to need to come to the mic. Oh, come to the mic.
Uncharted territory.
Right.
Now you get to start all over again.
Right, well, this is for concrete repairs at the Mendenhall Transportation Terminal and the City Hall parking lot on the East Commerce Avenue side. We're going to replace broken concrete curbing, slabs, ramps, and level existing brick pavers. The reason you want to do this could be a safety issue or a trip hazard. We bid it out. We had a clause in there about the potential June market because it's what was planned. We have a 120-day construction time frame. Public Services wants to award the contract to Dalton Contracting LLC in the amount of $148,100.
Terry,
Yes, sir.
question. Not that I'm complaining, but this bid is significantly lower than the
The others.
rest. How can?
Dalton has done work for us in the past.
Okay.
And that was the first thing, did they do work for us? And they have done work for us in the past.
Is it just labor rates or?
Probably labor rates, I would say.
We've seen quite a bit of that changes in the few years I've been doing it, when the, you know, we may see that shift, but when the private market's hopping,
Yeah, yeah.
the labor side gets more challenging, so.
If they hadn't done workforce in the past, I would be
Yeah.
concerned.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, usually they're pretty close on the.
Yeah, they're usually pretty close. The next one was what, about 40,000 higher? I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, yeah.
Any other questions, comments?
Motion to approve.
Second?
There's a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you, sir. Let's see, the next one is 2020-124, and we're talking about a contract and property conveyance, having to deal with the Cedro subdivision work. I'm showing Michael McNair, and there he appears.
Good afternoon.
Oh,
You're probably aware that the city has been working on this project for a couple of years with the dirt transfer and whatnot. The partnership with Habitat allowed it to come to fruition because they provided a bunch of dirt that was necessary to make it happen. So now we're at the point where we're ready to build a street and we're ready to build some houses. So Community Housing Solutions, who is our builder that's been working in Southside, is prepared to start building the first 4 units. You can see in your package, there's 4 addresses, 1477 through 1489 Cedro Drive. Excuse me. And so we have 2 items here. One is to convey the property to CHS so that they may then secure a construction loan and get a permit and start building. The second item is a contract for us to assist them financially with gap financing. So the conveyance, again, is for the 4 properties I mentioned, and the contract is for $200,000 for gap financing on the 4 houses. Any questions that I can respond to?
no, just glad to see it moving forward.
It's been a long,
Yeah.
the weather's been killing us.
It hasn't been helping much of anything.
Yeah.
Lisa, are we okay to, I mean, there are 2 things, but we can vote on this, just one vote? We'll cover both? We'll convey it? Okay.
Same.
Okay, thanks, Joanne. All right. Then if there's no further questions or comments on this, I will make a motion that we approve the item 124, contract and property conveyance.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, item 2020-125 is property acquisition consideration at 1102 Penny Road. And Lee's walking over to discuss.
Good afternoon. Yeah, this is an endeavor we're moving forward on to purchase some property located at 1102 Penny Road. This property is where the current American Legion building sits, if you guys are familiar with that. And it's about, I think it's about 1.2 acres, Kim, a little more than an acre. And it is, it is adjacent to land, obviously City Lake, and land owned by the city at the Piedmont Environmental Center. Bicentennial Greenway does run directly behind this property through to the lake on the bottom side of it. It did go for sale probably about 2 months ago at an asking price of $147,000. Kim made an offer of tax value, which was $118,000, and they've accepted that offer upon you guys' approval. So we recommend moving forward on this particular piece of property. It's the only property in that area that the city doesn't own. The Greenway connects in that particular area. We have future plans in that area with City Lake Park and a possible pedestrian crossing in that area, which is exactly where we need to go. So we would recommend approval and move forward in purchasing this property.
So what, again, what all is it gonna be used for? You said pedestrian access?
Well, initially, it sits in the watershed, in Tier 1 and Tier 2 of the watershed. So we'd have to do some things to annex it. We'd have to do a rezoning on a particular property and then come up with a site plan in which we think we can do. So what we would do is we'd remove the actual building that's on the site and use it as a parking area and a restroom area. And we'd have to do some things to show that what we would do, especially with the pervious surface, would improve the actual water quality as opposed to what's there now. And I think we can take that to TRC and get that approval. But our initial thoughts were that it would be a parking area and restroom area. We designed some type of bioswale for the runoff as far as the water, and trying to enhance the water quality as it is now.
The current property that's there, is it causing watershed problems, or is there something that may?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's just been there for so long. Once we do this, and with our site plan, we just need to show ways in which we can improve the quality there and show what we're going to do to improve the runoff once it comes off that parking lot.
Is that Legion, are they relocating, or are they just closing down that?
I have
post?
no idea. I don't know.
I hate to see it go. The building's named for one of my old classmates,
Oh, really?
no longer with us. Any other discussion? I know watershed tiers are hard to work inside of.
Yeah, they are, but we had long conversations with planning and Lee, and we think with what we're talking about doing, the simplicity of it, and then again, improving in the runoff in that area, we think we have a solution. And again, we're lacking in parking on the Greenway, especially with our new section that's built just up near the PEC. We do have a parking issue, so this will come in very handy and give citizens and people utilizing the Greenway somewhere else to park.
I agree, it'll be good to have some more parking. I used to own that day spa in that corner up the street, and
Yeah.
we drove by there, and if the Legion was ever having an event, I mean, it's a traffic nightmare.
It is. And there's not a lot of parking at the PEC currently. It looks as if there is, but we don't have a lot of parking spaces actually at the Piedmont Environmental Center.
Totally related, but it is about a pedestrian crossing around the Greenway. So last week, we were walking on that, the bicentennial one, and that, where it crosses, is it Guilford Road?
East Fork Road?
Yeah, I mean, so there is there's no rumple strips or whatever, but there's a sign, but there's no lights, and those cars come really fast from both directions. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, if we're talking about the same location, Monica, right off East Fork Road?
Right next to PEC.
Yeah, right
there.
behind the golf course.
Well, right in front of the Environmental Center.
Okay, so you're talking about a different
That one.
location. So that's our section right there in front of the PEC. When it was designed, I'm trying to think of the reason why we didn't put a rumble strip in there.
Because it's bad. I mean, if
But
I
we
was
have
a
the
mother
lights
with
on.
a stroller,
We
I would
have the
be-
lights on either side, but we do have it's something to get used to because that section's never been there as well, and people do come pretty fast off that road. We have the same problem on the Bicentennial side near Jamestown, behind the Jamestown Golf Course, where the road, you're basically coming down a hill and people are obviously picking up speed down through there,
Okay.
so.
Well, we might need to, as far as finance, look at that in the future to make sure that when we're doing those crossings, that we can have the funds to make sure that they're very, very safe.
Yeah, I agree. I
Okay.
agree.
Any other comments or questions? Then I will make a recommendation that the property acquisition of 1102 Penny Road be approved.
Second?
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2020-126, we're discussing the GEO refunding bonds, and Eric's going to talk to us about that.
Yes, sir. As you remember, recently, the council approved the refunding of these GEO bonds. This is a budget amendment that will just recognize the funds coming in, and then the bonds will be refunded. This is strictly for accounting purposes only. We just have to have a budget amendment to recognize those. We'll also mention that given the current situation, our decision to kind of fast track this and go with the private placement with Pinnacle Bank was very good because the market is all over the place right now. And a lot of cities are not able to issue bonds or refund bonds right now because of the issues that are going on. This one is moving forward.
Glad we could get it through, and especially in these
Any
not very stable times right now.
No, sir, a lot of uncertainty.
Any comments, discussion on this item? Then I will recommend approval of the budget amendment for the GO refunding bond. There's a motion and a second for approval. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you, sir. The next item, 2020-127, is an MOU agreement concerning the HP 365 incubator.
Yes, sir, and this one also, if you recall back in, August of 2018, the MOU between the city and the High Point Chamber Foundation was extended through October 31st, 2020. We recently have received another extension for that project from the state grant that the city has accepted to extend that to June 30, 2021. So we just wanted to bring this to you all to make all three parties end date the same. So this would extend our agreement with the High Point Chamber to June 30, 2021. So all three entities have the same end date for the grants.
Okay. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, I'll make a motion that item 127, MOU for the HP 365 be approved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Is there anything else that needs to come before finance? Thanks, everybody, for your work. Stay safe, and we are adjourned. Take care.